Hey there guys, so today we have another review and this is another beer courtesy of Mike. This is Odd Side Ale's Black Citra Not So Pale Ale. So this is a black IPA and I thought I'd take the time to talk about black IPA before I even dig into the beer. So what is a black IPA? It's pretty much similar to an IPA, one of the variants of IPAs, and there are a bunch out there. There's rye IPA, there's brown IPA, there's black IPA obviously here. Red IPA, Belgian IPA, I believe those are the ones that are recognized by the BJCP, but there are arguably some other ones out there if you want to, call a New England style or anything like that in IPA. There's other interpretations, but because craft beer has exploded so much, and the IPA is definitely one of the forefront styles, people have really played with the style a lot, and so what you have here is literally a black IPA. Greg Newton is given credit for creating the style in the 1990s. And so what makes it a black IPA? Well, it's actually debittered malt. One of the reasons that you use malt for beer, barley is quite a special ingredient. And one of the, there are many of them, including the starches and the diastatic power of the enzymes, but that's another discussion. One of them is that it has husks. And when you mash the beer, combine hot water and milled grain, it creates these husks, create this wonderful filter that filter out that liquid, so then you can then boil it. Well, what they do with debittered malt is that they remove some or part of the husks because that is what gets roasted, and that offers this bitter flavor that you associate with something like a stout or porter. So without that, you're getting the color, you're getting a little bit of chocolate and coffee flavor that you want in the beer, but without that kind of bitter thing that you're associating with porters and stouts. The kind of roast that should be in this beer, or light roast that should be in this beer, should be associated with something like a Schwarzbier or something like an international dark lager, if you've had one of those before. So anyway, that's a whole mouthful. Hope you guys like the explanation. I think some people have been enjoying the explanation, so I'll try to do it more. But if you don't like it and you think it's too long, please post it in the comments below. So the beer, you sort of see a little bit of dark brown coming through over here. Yeah, it's probably mostly a dark brown. Sort of looks black though. Yeah, leaning towards a very dark brown color. But yeah, beautiful, kind of like porter looking head on that. Light brown. Let's get the aroma on this one. So we'll say this bottle is almost 4 months old. Yeah. I'm mostly getting the, roasted kind of coffee notes, but there is an underlying kind of citrusy kind of quality. It's not overly chocolatey. It's not too creamy. So, if I had to guess what this was, like blind, I'd be very confused because I would get that chocolate note, but there's a little bit of underlying hoppiness underlying it as well. It's confusing. Cheers. Yeah, okay. Even though the hops have maybe fallen down a little bit, yeah, this is still a black IPA, right? Yeah, I'm trying to convince myself whether I'd be able to expect that this to be a black IPA, but I think so. It's a black pale ale. So by the way, along with the style, it ranges anywhere from something like 5.5 to 9% because there is that kind of black IPAs to pale ale range, but also these double black IPAs. So big range in style. But yeah, it really doesn't have that kind of familiar kind of bitterness and intense roast that you would get from a stout or porter. Instead, you get up front, again, this is light kind of creamy, chocolatey kind of thing. But then it's smacked down with a really nice kind of clean malt profile that's more familiar with the pale ale IPA kind of quality. And that kind of clean quality sort of triggers memories that it should be an IPA, nice and crisp and clean. There's really not too much of that kind of sweetness and chocolatey roast and all those familiar kind of creamy coffee flavors. It's quite pleasant. There's a little bit of this nice zippy citrus in there. So, you get a wonderful combination of that kind of, I think citrus and chocolate play very well together. You get a nice kind of chocolate note. There's not too much bitterness on the back end. And then there's a little lingering echo of some more cocoa kind of flavor. I haven't had a black IPA in a while. It's enjoyable, nice and mild. Again, if you're looking for something dark, but don't want really a stout, then you sort of get the middle ground here. So it's a really clean, dark beer, if that makes any sense. Obviously not as clean and crisp as something like a black lager or Schwarzbier, but sort of get to play with that, nice kind of ale quality without the intensity of a stout or porter. So as for rating, it's familiar. It tastes like that kind of IPA kind of flavor. I've imagined this would be a lot better fresh. Really nice and soft. It's nice. 87 on this one. 87. There you guys go. Oddside Ales, Black Citra, Not So Pale Ale. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Enjoy. Later.